Joyce, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. All
Can
right.
you hear me?
We will start the Finance Committee meeting. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Approved council claims in the amount of $616,055.73.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on hiring accountant.
So this is the second go-around. The last one, a week after she gave her notice, was countered by her employer. It was something we couldn't compete with. So we were back through the process, and very excited to announce that Sue Pankook is our new hire, once approved, and hopefully we'll be starting on Thursday.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion?
Thanks for sending over her resume.
Yep.
Welcome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Oh, I see Dino coming to the discussion and possible action on hiring a senior engineering technician.
Thank you, Finance Committee. It's exciting for me to be in front of you tonight, not talking about infrastructure right now, but talking about a new hire as well. So we are recommending the hire of, Maverick Pate for senior engineering technician. You should have all gotten his resume as well. Looking forward to having Maverick on staff and bring some more services in-house to inspect our construction projects and hopefully do some more design work in the winter and some more permit inspection type stuff, for utilities or for retaining walls or something like that, to have somebody do all that stuff. So I'm really excited to have Maverick on staff and looking forward to approval tonight.
Two questions,
Yeah.
Dean.
Yep.
Mostly sales in his background. I
Yep.
don't know what that included as far as hands-on.
Yeah. To not get too personal with his resume, but when we asked him about that, obviously through the interview process, when he started at his current position, he started as an engineer, and then when his essentially boss left, he got kind of forced into a sales role, essentially. So currently he's doing sales work, but he really does not want to be doing sales work, which is one of the reasons why he applied with us. He does also have experience through, past internships at City White Bear Lake, doing exactly the same things that he'd be doing with us as well.
And then his day-to-day activities outside of, what is he gonna do every day outside of what you're doing?
So during construction seasons, he would be out actually inspecting our construction projects. There will be some amount of, on-the-job training to get him up to speed as to, the expectations I have for him being out there and just the technical knowledge that he'll need to do his job well. And also, day-to-day, he could be doing like those permit type inspection stuff. If somebody has a braking permit they need to come in for, having somebody to inspect that kind of stuff. During the winter months, doing more of the design type stuff to help out with some of that as well.
So is he-
trying
are
to be getting him involved in a lot of
Are
different
you
stuff.
his senior then?
Yep, I would be his.
And then, I just wonder if we have this many projects for two civil engineers to be working on. Now, obviously, we had the big project of 35, but you feel your workload we're gonna need another engineer?
Yeah, so his position is an engineering technician, so it's not a full engineer, and he doesn't have a professional engineering license, right now, anyway. That could be something he pursues in the future, and if we have an opportunity for that, then great. We would have somebody on staff all the time for an extra engineer, but for now, it's kind of more as a construction inspector and doing the design work under my supervision in the wintertime, that kind of stuff. Yep, but I do believe we have plenty of work for him to keep busy with all year round. We also have in the job description that he would also help out doing some snow plowing in the wintertime, for sidewalks, trails, parking lots, that kind of thing, to ease up our public works staff a little bit. So trying to get him involved in lots of stuff that needs to get done around town.
Okay.
I know that we approved in the 2022 budget for the position.
Yep.
Remind me again, is this help outside of snow plowing and things like that, does that help offset any other costs related to the city?
Yeah, so right now, when we have to hire somebody to do construction inspection services, essentially. So Bolton and Menker SEH generally is who has done our construction inspection to this point. And if you do the comparison for what we pay them per hour versus what, his billing rate would be per hour here, it's about 2/3 essentially, the cost. So for instance, Bolton and Menker is about $120 an hour. Maverick, salary plus benefits, that kind of stuff would be about $80 an hour. So just to give you some comparison between the two. So if we already have these projects going on, and we do have plenty of projects going on every year,
Sure.
it makes a lot of sense for us to be saving money by having somebody here.
And how many candidates put in a resume, applied?
Not a lot. So that is part of the issue too, is that, his resume came along. We invited another person in for an interview, and never got back to us. And we're like, we're not gonna sit here spinning our wheels forever when we have a good candidate. We'll say his soft skills were great. He had great aptitude for learning, great communication skills, obviously through the interview, but also from the references we contacted, and really excited to have that skill set on board.
Thank you, Dean.
There's some things you can teach somebody, and there's some things you really can't, and we feel that he has a lot of the aptitude, the things that you can't teach somebody, so.
Just one thing, sorry.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So one thing that I just want to mention for not only finance, but those listening online is right now for development projects, we hire SEH and Bolton and Mank to do inspections on development projects, right? And all that money is going to them. With Maverick on board, and once he gets kind of the training necessary to do larger projects, the city will be able to recoup that money and it'll stay in our coffers. Instead of shipping it over across the river, the city will be reimbursed, and that's what will help pay a portion of his salary moving forward. So that's another big portion of why we're bringing him on board for development projects in the future.
That's also a benefit to the developers too, because it's a lower rate for the
Right.
charge to
Sure.
pass through to
And they would
them.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
But he's got more book experience and field experiences from what I'm gathering on the resume.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true. When he first started at his current employer, it was a little bit more the field stuff, but now in his current position, he's more in office type stuff. So I think it is important too to have a balance of both of those, because over the winter time doing the design stuff and whatnot, I think having the in-office experience will be helpful too. So.
Well, having sales experience is not a bad thing, especially when trying to sell projects.
That's not why we're hiring him, though. We're hiring him
No, but,
to be out in
but
the
it's,
field doing when you can't get eyes on the project.
Right, yeah. And we'll say too, doing sales stuff, there's a lot of customer experience for, doing sales work. And I think that'll translate really well to his ability to work with our residents and contractors and that kind of thing as well. So I think, like Joyce said, it is a good thing to have some of that different type of experience that'll help.
it teaches a lot of the soft skills.
So my only question is Maverick his real name, or is that a name that was acquired over time?
That is his real name. And we asked him if he wanted to be called something else, and he said he wanted to be called Maverick. So
Okay, all right.
we might be able to
Bar set
give
high.
him a nickname, but we'll see in the future.
The bar is set high with that name, huh?
All right, anybody
Move
else?
to approve.
Okay. Got a
Second.
motion?
Second?
Motion is second to approve. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean. Discussion possible action on use of ARPA funding.
So as we talked about last meeting a little bit, we provided kind of a breakdown from staff. I did include basically the same memorandum in the CAC that we did last time, just as kind of the base. We already have had the conversation about that EMS CAD system coming out of the EMS fund. And then the rest of the public safety items are on the council agenda for approval tonight to keep those moving. So basically where we're at with finance is, we've got a couple ideas with obviously the park we talked about, White Camp, and then some of the IT stuff, but there's a fairly significant amount that's still remaining, or even modifying the ones that the staff has recommended. So we're just looking for direction if the finance committee has any on some of the use of these funds. Otherwise, at some point it'll be, finance either making a direct recommendation of how to use all the funds or just passing along to the council for the full council to discuss how to use them ultimately at the end.
There's no deadline to use the funds just because they're there, right?
No, we actually won't even get the second half of funds until the summer. So we've received the first half of funds already last year, and we'll get the second half this summer. And then the deadline to use them, I believe, is the end of 2024. So we do have time to be able to allocate them and get them going.
Yeah, you have to have them set by December of 2024, and you have till December 2026 to fully expend them.
And when do we know when the grant applications for the Higgins Street Bridge come in?
Yeah, that's a good question, Randy. So the application is due in April, and we will probably hear back in either August or September whether or not we were successful with the grant application for the Hudson Street Bridge.
So still enough time so that we could approve what's on the list and then hold over the remaining funds for potentially using on the Higgins Street Bridge.
Correct.
That's what I would like to see happen.
Yeah.
Are you saying including the parks with the White Camp splash pad and the IT? And all inclusive
Well,
of
we'd have
that?
to, I think
or-
we still have to flush out, or did the Parks Department flush out the $300,000? Did you flush that project out?
Is that a fun?
Okay. So I don't have a problem with the splash pad out at all, so I think that, but I want it done right. I don't want to just have to, all of a sudden we throw this $300,000, it's not what we signed up for, and then we go back and have to spend more money on it, both physically and then operationally on an annual basis. So it's something we have to make sure we're aware of. So that's my thought, and I would move to do that, accept all the rest of the ARPA request and hold over the funds, the remaining funds for the Higgins Street Infrastructure Project.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on this?
My hesitation in my second really revolves, again, around the White Camp splash pad. I mean, as long as we are taking a look and having this come back to us, once we have some sort of formalized plan for that. Is that kind of the intention of you?
Yeah, we're not realizing the money right away anyway, so it's, once we get the particular plan in place, I think that's when we can truly decide to move forward with that money. Am I right, Aaron, on that?
Yep, correct. I mean, at this point, you're just basically saying placeholders. Staff will do the further research to make sure. I mean, like the IT stuff, we got those numbers pretty good, but the splash pad, we know that we had some conversation last time about potentially partnering with the Y, things like that. So staff will take the more time to dig into the numbers, make sure that it's right. We'll look at the options that were brought forth with the Y. And then when the council has to make a final decision, we can lay out, all the options for that item. So yeah, anything that you identify tonight, it's not that you're locking into it. I mean, one, the council still has to approve all of it as a whole too, but, we would, do more research on it, bring it back, make sure, that the numbers are right. Because it's like Randy said, we have a kind of a placeholder number, but we would want to do some more digging to verify it, things like that. So it would definitely be coming back to the council before being finalized.
And then the big thing with this one is obviously the public safety pieces would be done.
That's already been,
Right,
Yep, those are on the council agenda tonight for approval.
perfect.
Anybody else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. I don't have anything for future agendas. Anybody?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned.